obviously losing Durzi and then losing Boards like mid-game is tough. Luckily we got Boards back. He's good to go, I think, which is great. And then losing Durzi for we don't really know what the status is on that, but it's going to be longer rather than shorter. And he's a huge part of this team, so it's going to be really tough to replace him with one guy or replace him in totality. But we're going to have to pick up the slack. Like, just because we lost the guy doesn't mean that we have the green light to lose a bunch of hockey games, right? So we're going to need to pick up the slack. We're going to need to all do what we do in terms of our role in our game, and just be better at it. We're going to be better. We're going to need help from the forwards. We're going to need all 6 of our D. We're going to have to start playing really well. So the onus is on us to do our job and win hockey games.
You're one of the more battle-tested defensemen. Just your experience. Do you have a message to the group on maybe how to get through this patch?
I mean, honestly, I think it's pretty much just that. Like, hey, listen, no one needs to go out and be Sean Durzi, but we need to go out and be the best version of ourselves more consistently, more often, right? So, losing a massive member of our team is never ideal. But like I said before, it's just because we lost somebody doesn't mean that it's a green light to lose hockey games. So we got to figure out a way to win.
How does recovery change when you're going 28, 29, 30 minutes a game?
Yeah, I mean, it starts to become a lot of minutes. So you try to give everything you have on the ice. You try not to pace yourself out there. You try to make sure that every minute you're playing is hard and high end. And then it's, as soon as that game's over, it's switch flips, it's straight recover, get as much sleep as you can, hydration, whatever you need to do to get there. But that switch needs to flip quickly, and I think we need to be very aware and very mature in how we're approaching off days and how we're approaching days between games and things like that, because we don't want to get ourselves into a position where we're trying to play catch up, right? You got to try to stay ahead of that.
Is it difficult not to pace yourself when you know that that's a potential that you're going to be playing those heavy minutes?
Well, I mean, I don't think we can. You can't afford to just say, I'm going to take this shift off, or I'm not gonna play D zone this shift, right? I mean, that's one of the things where pucks usually end up in the back of your net. Guys like Sergei have played a lot of minutes for a lot of years, and he's probably able to manage it very well at this point. But there's never a time when you're able to throw it on cruise control out there, because everyone on the other team's trying to embarrass you, especially as a D-man, right? So you got to make sure you're not taking any minutes off or any seconds off, for that matter.
Have you talked to Durzi, and just what's his relationship or an injured guy's relationship with the room when they're out for an extended period of time?
That's a good question. I don't know what that relationship's going to look like. I know it can. I've been pretty fortunate not to miss a ton of time in my career with injuries, but that being said, I know it does get pretty lonely, right? You feel like you're not really part of the team. You feel like you're not really, part of the family. So, he came in today. We talked today for a while, and it's great to see him. I know he's pretty bummed right now, but as teammates, it's our job to make sure he's involved and at the rink and coming to games and hanging out with the fellas as much as he can, because we're going to get to where we want to get to in April and hopefully May and hopefully June. In terms of playoff hockey, that's our goal. If we're going to get there, he's going to be back. So he's going to have to, whatever that timeline looks like, and I don't know what it looks like, but he will be back at some point. So it's our job to make sure that we elongate the season enough to get him back, right? So